Hi everyone, this is Pete Barusic, and I want to welcome you to this edition of the Weathered Athlete Podcast, a place for us to honor those athletes that refuse to go quietly into the night. As a weathering triathlete and physical therapist, I will spend my time talking with those athletes that continue to make the necessary repairs and continue to move forward. My goal is to determine what sets these individuals apart from the rest of society. After the discussion is over, I encourage you to stick around to hear a breakdown from a physical therapist perspective of how this weathering athlete is able to keep moving forward. Don't forget to hit subscribe, leave a comment, and share with your friends. Today I'm honored to have Charlie Plaskon joining me as I complete my second mile of this journey. A friend Joe and I were fortunate to spend some time with Charlie and his guide Matt Miller during Ironman Chattanooga in 2019 while on the run course. If we were solely focused on a time goal, we would have ran right past that experience. For those of you that don't know Charlie, he is a force to be reckoned with. He has been legally blind his whole life due to losing his central visual field from Stargarts disease. However, you will find out he has accomplished more than anyone, especially his childhood eye doctor, could have imagined. He started running at age 55 and completed his first marathon at age 57. He then transitioned to triathlon after a suggestion from his children. He is a soon-to-be 77-year-old who has set a goal to complete 10 Long Course Ironman events. Ironman Chattanooga was number 9, however he refuses to count it as official because he didn't finish in the allotted time. I was there, he did cross the finish line, unlike a good majority of his fellow athletes, but I definitely see his point. As you will hear, he has navigated life as he has on an Ironman course, 1 mile at a time, with determination and help when needed. His energy and zest for life is infectious in everything he does. His COVID training activities would not be the first recommendations I would give due to his prior back surgery, but he has a point. It is a great core workout. So I encourage you to sit back and use a smile for reflection and allow Charlie to be your guide and teach you how, despite obstacles or not so perfect conditions, you weather the storm to keep going and come out with a smile on your face. Appreciate you taking time to at least let me talk to you and just ask you a few questions about things.
Well, the big thing for me, Pete, is that if we can help people along the way, I mean, I'm working my way through the tunnel of life, and I still have a ways to go, I hope, but I have less to go than I've traveled already. So if I can help some people with what the decisions that I made that quite possibly could have been better thought over, I'd like to pass some of that information on, and with your help, it would be obviously relating to athleticisms, because people are so concerned with their financial future and their reputation and climbing up the ladder. But you can get as high as you want on the ladder, and you can make and save as much as you can get and material things. But if you don't have health, and if you don't have desire, ambition, or ability to solve problems and go around issues, then it's not worth the effort. So if you figure out a way to pass that on, whether I'm a see different old athlete or I'm a weathered athlete, or whatever you want to call me, if I can, because I've been around 77 years, so I mean, I'm not new to the game, but I certainly don't have all the answers. But if you think I have something to share, and you talk to me, and if it makes sense, pass it on.
So, like we talked the other day, so I'm intrigued as a PT and then also an aging athlete myself, just what you've been able to do. And I go back and look at kind of the history. I see everything started, around 1999 when you retired? Is that when you started?
Yes, that's pretty much. Yeah, I was too busy just trying to survive. I had no time, married, had 3 children, and worked my way through college. College wasn't very easy for me. Well, if you want a thumbnail sketch back in the beginning?
Yeah, please. Yeah, maybe start with Stargarts if you don't mind, just to kind of fill me in on that.
Oh, yeah, I can give you a thumbnail sketch. Well, I was born in 1943, September 23rd, so I'm just coming up on 77. But you would know as an athlete, your age group is the age you're going to be that particular year.
Yep.
So my actual birthday is on September 23rd, 1943.
Okay.
That's when I was born and made my untimely entry into this world at 2 o'clock in the morning during a I don't know, some kind of storm. So that wasn't a great thing, but everything worked out fine. I was kind of like a normal kid. I did the things that normal kids do right and the normal kids do wrong. And I crawled and I ran and I bumped into things, knocked things over. And nobody paid very much attention to it. But then as I got a little bit older and started school, then teachers were noticing that I was kind of like not really conforming to normal behavior in a classroom. So I was not learning as quickly as the others, obviously, because I couldn't really see.
Yeah.
And back then I did see a little bit, enough to realize that I wasn't like anybody else, and I could fake it till I made it.
Yeah.
So it was all kind of okay. And my first grade teacher, Miss O'Connor, she just said, "Oh, there's something going on here. That's not good. Seems like a nice enough kid, but he's going the wrong way. He's spending too much time getting into trouble because he's got nothing else going on during the school day." So I went to a bunch of doctors. My parents took me to many doctors. They couldn't figure anything until I went to an eye doctor. And the eye doctor, ran the gamut of tests. And I was sitting in the examination room, and my father went into the office with the doctor. I could still hear what was going on. And I heard the doctor say, the world's going to be much too dangerous a place. Charlie, you better keep him inside and find a special school, and it's just going to be very difficult and challenging. So I say, you're a little kid. You figure, what does that really mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't a happy couple minutes, but father came into the examination room and put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Okay, we're done here." Got into the car and we drove home. Didn't say a word until we got in the house, and we walked straight through. It was a long, skinny house. We lived in the city. The lot that the house was built on was 25 by 100, and that was right next to houses on either side that were also built on 25 by 100. And so what they did, they staggered it. One side of the house was 2 feet away from the other house, but the alternate side, they made 4.5, 5 feet wide so you can walk into the backyard with your garbage cans.
Yeah.
So walk straight through, gets me into the kitchen, and he turns me around and takes his finger and pokes it into my chest. He said, "Don't you listen to what that doctor said. You listen to me." And he just came on strong. He said, "Don't you ever, ever use your sight as a reason for not doing something. Whatever it is you do, we will figure it out."
That is awesome.
That's the way I started. And back then there was, theoretically, it's always supposed to be the same. You listen to your parents.
Yeah.
And there was no hotline for a kid to dial and say there's parental abuse or somebody's going to turn you in. There's nothing going on. What he says was the be-all and end-all. Slovak? Oh, my God. It only gets more complicated. Not that that's bad, but, it was. And if he had trouble, which he never did, his older brother lived upstairs, and his older sister lived upstairs. So there was no way of me surviving except getting under the thumb, under the knuckle, and just listen to what they say.
Yeah.
And that's how I went through life. And I kind of cleaned up my act with help, because then my father would talk to the teachers and they would make some concessions. But as far as Stargarts is concerned, I don't know how much you know about it, but the teachers did make concessions. They put me in the first seat of the row so I could see the chalkboard more clearly.
Okay.
But they didn't get the concept. They were absolutely right. Yeah. I could see the chalkboard more clearly. I couldn't see what they were writing on it.
Yeah.
It just didn't work that way.
Yeah.
So I came up with my own way to survive. Had a group of friends. Between the 4 or 5 of us, we very rarely could do all things right, but in a group of 5, one of us was able to come up with a system.
Yeah.
And I came up with a system, how to get by school. I went to regular high school. It's just regular school, regular elementary school. There was no middle school. It just went right to 8th grade. So I went to high school, 4 years high school, and just notifying the teachers that I had an issue, and I made some concessions. But after that, we made it. Me and my friends, we made it.
Yeah.
High school in 4 years, went on to college. 4 years, bachelor's degree, went on to University of Maryland, got a master's degree. And I kind of like wanted to be a teacher and I knew all the tricks. So when I became a teacher, there was no way anybody was getting around me. And that's the way I survived. I mean, it just kept getting better and better because I was a freaking natural.
Yeah.
And I just knew how hard it was for some of these kids to learn. So if you don't come face on, head on, and bump heads, when it's a hard-nosed kid, boy or girl, didn't really matter. Go through the back door, build up a relationship and come through the back door into their head, and then gradually turn them around. And it worked for 32 years.
Wow,
it was a beautiful setup for me.
That's great. What did you end up teaching?
I started off with technology.
Okay.
But technology back then was wood shop, ceramic shop, plastic shop. There were just shop classes with machines.
Okay.
And my father and Uncle Joe, that was their forte. That was their background. And they taught me all about the machines, how to woodworking machines, metalworking machines. I knew all of that because if I couldn't make it in college to become a teacher, I would just become in an industry. And I could run the machines better than most sighted people.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I was much stuff. And of course, my father taught in the vocational school.
Okay.
So he knew what he was doing. And my aunt, she taught seamstress. She was a seamstress, and she taught sewing. So they were all technical people, hands-on people, but they were all educators. And I fell right into the fold. And I just had that natural gift to be a teacher.
That's great.
And then it got more and more complicated as my sight, and I saw less and less.
Yeah.
I had to customize what I was able to do, so then I went back to college again, another university, Hofstra University. I got my administrative license. And it wasn't just building level, I went right up to district level.
Okay.
So my graduating class was one of the last classes that had a lifetime license. Everybody else, after my class, they have to, if you have an administrative position, then your license holds. But if you don't, or if you're not an administrator, 3 years go by, you have to go back to classes.
Okay.
Because then it would go back to provisional. So mine is permanent. I could go back to doing anything I want, from teaching right up to district superintendent. In fact, sometimes, because I just related to a lot of people, because I did have some administrative positions near the end. When I retired, my shop was way at the end of the building, because the machines were noisy, and it was on the athletic field. And some of my classes, my special classes for the special programs, they would meet till 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and it was dark out there, and track would be running and running and running. And for years, I just said, geez almighty, what a worthless activity. They've got nothing better to do with their time. Man, what a waste of time. But when I retired, then I had time on my hands. I said, well, it's something that you never really did before. And to make it a double win-win situation, besides never doing it before, why don't you try something that you poke fun at and so people were ridiculous to do it? See what happens. Oh boy. Oh yeah. First half hour anybody can do. Second half hour gets tough after that. Unless you know what you're doing and you train, you're not going anywhere. It took me a long time. Being visually impaired, it took a long time to get over that or get through that. But I did. And 5Ks became natural, 10Ks, half marathons, full marathons. Just kept getting better and better. And my daughter is a PT person.
Okay.
And she graduated from Siena. Yeah, and the other one is an accountant. So she did something else up in upstate New York.
Okay.
So she's an accountant, and my son is occupational therapy.
Oh, okay.
And he went to UNE, University of New England, up in Maine, Benefit, Maine. So I have like that type of people, like your kind of like background in the family. And when I was doing marathons nonstop, and they just became so natural. I went to Europe and I did 3 marathons in 3 weeks and thought nothing of it. And, well, I did think a little bit about the third one. That was a little challenging. The first one was in Germany, Munich Marathon. And the second one was, I don't know if you know Europe or Germany. It's Lake Constance is a lake in the southern part of Germany. You hit three countries: Austria, Switzerland, and Germany. So that was a very triathlon, that they call it, 3 lands that you run through. That was exciting. And I finished up. The third one was Venezia, Venice.
Okay.
I ran Venezia. That was very challenging because there are bridges, lots of bridges all over the place. But we survived them and had a great time. Went for a gondola ride, drank a lot of beer when we finished. It was a good thing, but then I was much younger, three that quick. Then my kids tell me that you're abusing one set of muscles. You're abusing your body. Why don't you spread it out into 3 muscle groups? Just go, not just run. Why don't you swim, bike, and then run? So I said, yeah, that's cool. So I figured, well, I'll take this swimming thing over quickly. That didn't work out because I swim because I was a pretty avid water skier. I swam and surfer, but you only swim short distances just to get from point A to point B. You try swimming a mile, 2 miles in open water, and you have to learn a whole new philosophy. And that took me 2 years to get that one down.
Okay.
Biking came pretty quick. Endurance on a bike, I came up pretty good. So then I started off just like I did with the marathons. I did the sprint triathlons, then the Olympic distance, then the halves, and then the full. And Ironman distance is when I became competitive.
Okay.
Because I just had the endurance muscles or the endurance physiology or stature or stupidity, I don't know, whatever it is, just to keep going and going and going. But many athletes and doctors just say I get away with that because of my physiology and also because I have active recovery. I don't necessarily blow it all out and then have to rest or stop or can't go any further.
Okay.
I recover while I'm going. It's a much slower pace, and I have an elephant heart that just keeps going and going, and here I am. I did it, and I've been doing a lot of speaking, motivational speaking when I was racing, and I'm getting back to it now again. In fact, you're the one that put the icing on the cake. That went in the Ironman in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
That was the first. That was my 9th one.
Yeah.
Because I wanted 10. But I still don't like the way I completed that one.
Yeah.
It was a bad day. It was. Oh, you were there. You know.
Yeah.
Very, very hot day and hilly, and going up to that lookout mountain. Oh my God! Whatever the heck mountain it was that you had to climb, run to the top of it. But I did finish it. But it took me. I didn't complete it with the new constraints. Did the distance, but that extra mileage and the heat took it out of me. So I still don't consider that my 9th Ironman. I'll do the 9th one over again. I was going to try for California. Just canceled it. It was but I just got the email that they canceled the one in California. So that one's out. It's supposed to be September.
They moved Santa Rosa. I was supposed to do Santa Rosa 70.3.
Yeah.
And they moved that one to October, but I don't see that one happening. And Chattanooga was just canceled last week. So Chattanooga's done.
Yeah, wow. Boy, Ironman's taking a big hit.
It's a rough year. So to transition to that, how have you coped with, all this stuff getting canceled? I know it's got to be frustrating. How are you keeping yourself busy?
Oh, wow. I have a real good answer. In fact, I'm looking at your answer right now. Can't see it. It's only on the other side of the driveway. I helped my son buy a boat.
Okay.
So we're back to boating. It's, I don't know if you know anything about boating. It's
Nothing.
Not a thing?
Not a thing.
Oh, wow. This is a nice boat. It's Key West. We had many different type boats. It's 19 feet center console, but it's got a 150 on outboard, and it moves nice in the water. So got the boat. We're up in Boston now on a lake, smooth as glass. So I just wanted to see how much juice I had left in my tank.
Uh-huh.
So we bought they're tubes. What they really are, they used to be gigantic tubes, almost like you take a truck tire tube, like 4.5, 5 feet in diameter, and the thing is like maybe, I don't know, 16 inches, 18 inches in that, in like diameter, and you wrap that around. That would be the tire part.
Okay.
And it overall circle is maybe 4.5, 5 feet wide. And we drag that behind the boat, get beaten up, and fly and do circles and try to knock everybody off. So the new version of that is like a flying saucer type thing. The darn thing is still 4 feet wide, but the thickness of it is like maybe 10 inches. That's it. So when you lay on that thing, you really have to tip up to one corner or you're going to dig the corner in and get wiped out.
Yeah.
So I've been on that like Saturday and Sunday, and I know I have the strength to do that. And it's exciting because I have to make friends with the water again. So I'm out there getting beaten up hour after hour, taking turns on the tube. And I go with my grandson, and he thinks it's hot stuff. Because he's 9. I mean, we're taking hits, just banging into each other on the tube, flying in the air, trying not to get blown off. And he gets blown off, I get blown off, and then we let go. And I mean, you skid along the water before you sink in. So you're moving, but this kid wants to just keep going and going. So I kind of backed off on that a little bit. So I'm gonna order a pair of water skis. I'll work with my daughter-in-law, get a pair of water skis out here, because I keep telling him, he's a kid, he just likes, I keep telling him, I said, Jack, I mean, I've never been inside a washing machine. This is basically just going into a washing machine, getting beat to heck. Yeah, isn't it fun? Yeah, isn't it fun? Yeah, it's fun, but it gets old real quick. Why don't we try kneeling on the board?
Yeah.
Or trying to stand on the board. No, this is got bad beat. And yeah, so we slow down. My son brings the boat around. So you boys want another ride? Yeah. My grandson, another ride. And hit it hard, Dad. Try to knock us off. I said, oh, jeez almighty. But it is cute, fun. That's what I did with my son. But then, of course, I was quite a bit younger.
Yeah.
But it's once again, you have a relationship, you build a relationship, and he sees me taking hits. I fly off, and he flies off. And it's just a cool way to build a relationship, not just with, I don't know, you buy him something for his birthday, buy him something for Christmas. This is something that's really cool stuff. And that's what I've done with all my kids and grandchildren as well.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm doing.
So how's your back doing that, though? Because I know you have some back issue. As a PT, I'm sorry, Charlie, as a PT, I'm not going to say that's probably on the exercise list.
I'm telling you, with age, 77, there does not necessarily mean brains all of a sudden start to appear. You don't pull them out of some other part of your anatomy. No, there's no brains, maybe, to keep my ears apart. But common sense, zero, nada. I keep telling myself, I hear my back go crack. I go, oh, that's going to hurt. And here I am the morning after saying, that wasn't really that bad. So, no, I'm really, I have to start being more sensible. It does nothing good to your back. It can't possibly.
No.
Peter. No, guaranteed nothing. Flip off the board and roll along the water for like 30 feet before part of your arm or leg sticks in the water, and that slows you down and you rip. Oh, yeah. Nothing good.
Yeah.
Nothing good.
Yeah, you remember we got to try to get you through your to your 10th Ironman. So, you got
See, words of wisdom coming
yeah,
from a weathering athlete.
yes,
Weathering, man,
that,
you don't even weathering. Are you
yeah,
kidding me?
trust
Your
me, I
skin
don't.
doesn't have a ripple in it. But the cute thing is, and I know this is a cop out, but you need core strength. This is all about core.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you need. To swim, you need a core. To run, you need a core. You just need a core.
Yeah.
And if you don't, like, that's what my brain does. It sends messages to my feet through my core. It's not just say, "Hey, feet, let's get going." No, it's that. Then you like take your shoulder, just make a little tweak of the shoulder, and then with your right hand, you take a little swing forward, and you imagine as you bring your right hand back, you're grabbing your left ankle and helping that leg go back. It's all in my brain. It's all, well, it's all connected.
Yeah.
Your right hand, left foot, left hand, right foot, and I'm going through the core. And I just say, get ready, core. You're going to be busy today. And that's pretty much what I do. Abuse myself. Some people would call it abuse, but not getting cocky. My body's just used to that kind of ridiculousness. And I do my stretches basically each day, and I have a set of weights here, free weights, because all the gyms are closed. I can't even run to tuck into a gym now.
I know.
Everything's restricted. So they restrict your activity, but they leave the liquor stores open 24/7. So you go the wrong way. It's so easy to build up some rub-a-dub-dub. And the kids that were on the boat were really, really cute yesterday, because the one guy's two sons came, and this guy is like 46, 48, and he was a pretty avid rollerblader and skateboarder, and he's trying to get back to skateboarding. So the first thing his son says, "Daddy, you look different than Charlie. Like, why do you look the way you look?" And Charlie looks the way he looks. So his father goes, but it's just a physical thing, and I can even see people. So I just have to listen to them listen to what they're saying or what they're doing. Then I can just imagine the shape that has to go along with that. And from what I can tell, this one man, nice guy, he specializes in drinking beer. Oh. He can drink beer. Drinking beer was an athletic event fan, but he went out on the tube, and he got beaten up. So I'm proud of him. But laugh, it's all cute. It's cute stuff. Yeah. But he said, "Yeah, Charlie, I got to do something about this, and maybe seeing you out here doing this will make me think about it." Because I say him quietly, "What are you going to be doing when you're 77?" Yeah. So, and that's pretty much where it goes. And I'm not out there motivating, but I guess I motivate all the time just by what I do, and that makes me feel good. So it makes me put down that third martini or third beer, because it does nothing good. It's very relaxing and exciting, but that's not what I'm all about. Because now I say, now that I have the boat, because we just got it maybe 2 weeks ago, just got it registered. Went in the water first thing on Saturday, and it was great, and Sunday was great. So today's a down day because everybody's working. Yeah. So that gives me an opportunity to do some cross training and let go long walk this morning with my daughter-in-law. But unless you have a serious focus on some reason to be involved with athletics, it gets tough. Yeah. And the thing is that you could be sprinkled around the country and know where the people are, and everybody's training, but you're going to get together in September or October or November, and then you're not going to be talking to or relating to people that are passively involved with athletics or nice to be involved. But when you start doing Ironmans, that's a whole different kind of nice.
Yeah.
That's a whole different kind of nice.
Yeah.
And I don't flaunt it, I don't advertise it, but when you get to a whole group of people that's what they do. So when we go out and have a couple of beers are really like one or two.
Yeah.
It's not like you got nothing to do except keep drinking the beer. So it's a very unique camaraderie that unfortunately this year is being put to the test. It's down to the individual, and that would make someone like yourself, Corona is giving everybody lemons.
Yeah.
And somebody like you can potentially make some line of thread connecting those lemons and turn it into lemonade. And if I can encourage anybody to just don't give it up, because sooner or later there's going to be an activity, and you have to stay fit. There's got to be an iron fit. Like for me, when I was doing Ironmans all the time, that was like 6 weeks, 8 weeks tops. You can go from zero, which really isn't zero, but you just drop back on your training, which is where I am right now, because I have nothing to focus on, and I want to get back into that because my balance, I know, is becoming challenged. And my son picked up that my age, tactily, I'm losing tactile senses because they were very extreme for me. So now I'm dropping more down into the average group.
Okay.
But I can't really feel as much as I feel. So I am adjusting to what I can do. So we put buttons on the microwave so I can take care of, because I still want to be independent.
Yeah.
I don't want to help, but I want to be independent. So I am looking for other reasons to be athletic, and now I'm going to the water skiing, because there'll be a challenge, a certain level. Slalom, I was good. I was better than good. I was real good. And everybody knew it. And my grandson, my son, when he was my grandson's age, I put on a pair of water skis and put him on my shoulders and skied with him on my shoulders. And my daughter, PT girl, she started on a pair of water skis, and we were both behind the boat, and she kicked hers off and climbed onto my skis. She climbed up my back.
Wow.
And she got onto my shoulders. So all of these pictures, now I tell my grandson that that's what I want with you. I want you on my shoulders, just like your daddy was. So all of these things are making me stay more active, more physically fit. And also what I'm going to do is go back to another one of my first love, dancing.
Okay.
I always like dancing, and you have to be fit to dance, and you can't just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to be a dancer.
Yep.
Or wake up one morning and say, I'm going to do a marathon or be a triathlete or an Ironman. I mean, you have to be fitness training, and I like that. Once again, it's core.
Yep.
Oh, Patrick Swayze, come on. Fred Astaire. I mean, these guys, they core straight. Oh, my God. So stuff like that, dancing, it's not the manly thing, but it can potentially be a manly thing.
Definitely can.
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going.
That's good.
Fit.
So Charlie, you talked about your feet and like sensation stuff. So how is it like after a race, or actually during a race? You know, Chattanooga was hot. Heat, water don't really mix too well as far as friction and having problems. Did you have any issues with skin during the race or after the race?
Yeah, I had quite a lot of issues with skin.
Yeah.
Especially when I kicked into the curb and fell down. That knocked off skin completely off my elbows and knees.
Oh, did you? When did you fall? You fell during the run?
I kicked the curb. Curb. Not a curb. A crack in the sidewalk.
Yeah.
But it was a tough fall, and the feet were getting heavy.
Yeah.
And nothing was working. But as far as my feet don't usually swell or blister if I take the time to lace my shoes up correctly, and don't do it too tight on a long race. Then sometimes I have to loosen it.
Yeah.
If you take the time to pay attention to what you're doing. But near the end, Chattanooga, I was going so slow it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
So for me, though, something I never ever considered was walking fast. there's a technique for walking fast. I've been practicing that. You know, people say they can walk a 15-minute mile. Unless you train walking a 15-minute mile, that's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
So it's all, once again, training. So I'm learning all these things. Now up in Boston, I go with my daughter-in-law, and these hills are like nonstop. Yeah. It's not like you do one or two and they go away. They constantly go and constantly steps. I go up 13, 16, 18 steps every time you go upstairs. And that's what you do to get into the house. Mm-hmm. So automatically these people are much more fit, and they do this stair stepper. They don't need a stepper. Yeah. They're stepping all the time. But it does, unless you are extremely focused and have a lot of time, Peter. You need a lot of time. Yeah. You can't be... well, I couldn't do it when I was working. Yeah. Couldn't do it. Had to be when I retired. So you need a lot of time to train up. How do you squeeze in training? I think you mentioned once that you have children, a child? No.
Yeah, I have two sons. I'm lucky. I didn't pick up the sport till I was 45, and my oldest was in college and my youngest was in high school, so he was doing his own thing anyways. So it was kind of a perfect transition, and now one's actually graduated. He's an accountant. And then the youngest is going to start his junior year at UNC Charlotte. So he is, he's in and out of the house. So I'm pretty much on my own. And, I'm here with my wife, and she's home with the dog. So she kind of lets me, I do my training in the morning. I try to do it early so that I'm back. And then that way I get stuff done in our house. But I don't know how doing it when the kids are small. I give anybody credit. It is very difficult. It takes a lot of time to do any of this stuff.
Oh yeah. And listen, so now I'm doing some quick math, because I was a math teacher part-time too. So why did I think you were much younger? So you could potentially be a weathered athlete.
I am. I'm 50. Yeah, that's why we basically made the cutoff at 50. So this is where it's. I just sneaked in, so that's why, Charlie, I'm trying to get all the secrets here, because I want to be doing what you were doing. That's where I want to be. That's my goal.
You're a young weathered. You're a young weathered. I didn't start my weathering with athleticism until I was 55. That was back in 99. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you are older. So, yeah. Oh, my God.
So you're training right now on the bike. Are you doing just stuff on tandem with somebody, or are you on your trainer all the time?
No, I'm my trainer. Okay. Because in fact, my daughter asked me, she wants to get a trainer because she said traffic down in Florida. She's in Florida, Naples, Florida. She said it's like crazy. People are crazy. Yeah. And you can't even buy bikes now because everybody bought them up. Yeah. And everybody's out there with their bikes and social distancing and people in the cars. It's crazy. So she got kind of like moved off to the side of the road. Yeah. And she's up to like 2 hours. She was calling me in the morning when she goes, and everything was cool. And she got up to 2 hours. I said, well, now you got to start seriously thinking about hydration. Yeah. Up to an hour, you can kiss it off. I mean, there's got to be enough in your body for an hour. Yeah. But the longer it gets, the more exciting it gets. But then you have to bring the right equipment with the right nutrition, hydration along with you. So she was doing great. She was up to 2 hours. And sure enough, didn't hear from her one morning. Next morning, I get a call. She fell off the bike, but she didn't. She had help coming into the development where she lives. A car was making a left-hand turn, and whatever, just squeezed her off, and she headed for the curb. But it was I still don't understand. She got up onto the sidewalk somehow, but she wasn't really completely in control of the bike. She managed to get out of the street so that the car didn't hit her. But her tire, they had recently just edged the sidewalk, and they cut out quite a bit of dirt. Yeah. Little miniature trench on the side of the sidewalk, and that's where her front tire went in, slipped in, and then she went right off the bike.
She okay?
Yeah, just knees and elbows, you know, but nothing serious, because she wasn't clipped in. Nobody clips in. Okay. It just just their crazy father.
Yeah.
Nobody clips in. I told them that's no good. You figure something out with maybe a cage on the end of it. That's as good as it's going to get for you guys.
Yeah.
Nobody's clicking in, clipping in. So she knocked off, a little skin here, a little skin there. But she did okay. But it's over 2 hours. So now she's talking training.
Nice.
Trainer.
Okay.
And I told her mine is like old, but I'm not giving it up yet. Because, it's an old. I was a $300 training 20 years ago. Trainer 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's an oil-filled one.
Oh, okay.
It's not just air or nothing. It's a serious piece of equipment. I mean, it's beat up now, but it still works. So that does good for me. And because I have a situation. I have a beachcomber tandem. I have that up here by my son's house, and we'll put the air in the tires and go for a ride. But that's not what it's all about. My racing tandem.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing, I can only let certain people on that.
Yeah.
Because that will take two of us out.
Yeah.
That whole thing only weighs 16 pounds, so it's like nothing. It's not a serious bike. It's a Griffin.
Yeah.
And when Griffin was in business, boy, that bike is all tricked out because I had sponsors left, right, and sideways. They wanted to see that bike every place. They saw the 8 Ironmans.
Yeah.
So I got the best wheels, the best gears, the best freaking everything. So I can't let people on that. So that's just collecting dust until I find the right person. You and I cross paths.
Yeah. Well, how long does it take the two of you to kind of work things out?
If it's a serious athlete like you, sometimes when I fly someplace and I have the bike transported, bike transport.
Yeah.
My bike arrives, I arrive, my guide arrives, and maybe, depending on how tight we do before the race, I'll get 1 day, sometimes just an hour, 2 hours. Wow. Because the shakiest, scariest thing is to start.
Yeah.
Because you're both clipping in.
Yeah.
It's like serious stuff. You got to get that timing squared away. And there's one guy, oh my God, he was so nervous and shaking the bike, and we had to stop a couple times and jump off quick, and it was terrible. So I finally convinced him. I said, so listen, calm down. It's going to be fine. It was in Kentucky. Okay. Kentucky Ironman. Yeah. Ironman, Kentucky. It goes to Rolling Hills of Kentucky. I kept telling him, I said, listen, don't worry about it. This is scary. You're scared. Everything's fine. We only have to do this once. Because once we mount this bad boy, we're not getting off the darn thing until we do the 112 miles. Just once. That's all you got to do. And, it was a shaky start. But the Rolling Hills of Kentucky, we just leapfrogged up those things. We never got off the bike. We just had our 2 hours, and that was it. Wow. Average 22, 23 miles an hour for the whole distance. Nice. And but it's a pretty scary operation because once you get into it, then of course you want arrow position and you're all tucked in and everything's cool, and stuff happens fast. You know that. Stuff it happens real fast. And the double trouble is the way we have to do it on a tandem. He grabs, passes it back to me, grabs one for himself, grabs another one, passes it back to me, grabs another one for himself. This is very, very complicated. And we got people running after us trying to pass us stuff as we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tricky business. So much so that we load up. We load the bike up. We have 6 cages. Okay. But that's only 3 for us. It's 3 for each of us, which is what I'm sure you carry. 3 cages. Yeah. Yeah, I pretty much had 3. I have 2 in the bar and had one on my arrow position. Oh, and then so I had 3, and I used all 3, and I stopped every station to fill up. So what do you do then during the ride? How do you know when to drink? Are you just doing it on your own, or is Matt kind of telling you, or do you have a watch? We keep each other posted. Like you said, you better be done halfway with that first bar, or you should be halfway through the first bottle. Okay. And we have to. Because you lose track. Even anybody loses track. Yep. Yeah, if I don't have somebody monitoring what's going on, then I lose. And if you skip a couple hydration drinks, then you can't go backwards and do it. Nope. No. So that's another guide's responsibility. Okay. So he's watching the time. He's watching the Yes.
He's watching the miles. And I know when I'm doing group rides, even bikes in front of me, I can barely hear. I have some loss of hearing in my left ear, so it's kind of hard. Are you able to hear the guide or telling you when to drink?
It's pretty much, I've trained so much with Matt that
Yeah.
we kind of like, we can almost like anticipate what we have to be doing.
Okay.
And then he will say, well, next time we do, because most bike, in fact, maybe every single one, I don't think I ever did a bike Ironman where it was just not a 2-loop or 3-loop. There's always a second loop. So the first one is just practice.
Yeah.
That's it. We just first practice, and he points out where we want to be when we do the second loop, or where we want to be when we do the third loop. So the first loop is just stretch, learn what's going on,
Yeah.
and get ready. And then we get much more serious because he always wants negative splits. So, well, I guess everybody really would like that.
Yep. That's the goal.
in a perfect world, textbook says.
Yes.
Well, the textbook isn't here right now.
Yeah.
So it's cute, but it's a lot of responsibility with the guide. But then when you work with the guide enough, you kind of like anticipate, what your needs are. And it's definitely a relationship. So I did most of my Ironmans, serious ones with Matt. The rest of them, when he was busy doing other things, then he put me in touch with somebody that was of his caliber.
Okay.
So then it would work. It would work well as well. But then each time, then there's a rainy course. Then there's a detour because something's washed out. There's always something. So the person has to be a very flexible person to begin with, and but you have to have miles under your belt. Because that 112-mile bike ride, that's not small potatoes.
No, it's not. Is Matt telling you, like, when you're going through the race, is he telling you how many miles you've completed or how many miles you have left? What's he giving you as far as feedback?
Pretty much, no. What he does, he doesn't do it blow by blow, because that's discouraging.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you say, we have like 90 miles to go, 80 miles to go, 60 miles to go.
Yeah.
That still sounds like a boatload of miles. No, he would say something, halfway.
Okay.
Halfway. We break the marathon up into 4 10Ks.
Okay.
We don't count the miles. We don't count anything. Just 4 10Ks. 10K's down, the second 10K. Everybody's feeling crappy. Third 10K, you better be feeling crappy.
Yeah.
You figure the fourth 10K, then if you're still mobile, then whatever you have juice left in the tank, you just pull it out of someplace.
Yeah, you find it.
You find it. That's the way we do it. The marathons are 4 10Ks, simple, boom.
Okay.
And the bike ride, the 12 miles after that, it's just a century ride.
Yeah.
This is just a century ride.
Yep.
Nothing more than that, Charlie.
Yep.
We've done thousands of these things in training, thousands of them.
Yeah.
And it's a century ride. And it's we're inside 50.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the way we do that. The swim is just I need to know halfway on a swim.
Okay.
Because I don't like swimming. I just want to get the heck out of the water as quickly as possible. A 2-loop course, that's great for me.
Yeah.
And it's half over. And that's cool. So pretty much that's it. Because if you count down like how far you have to go, that's a pretty depressing thought.
It especially in the beginning. It's good at the end, but in the beginning, the bike was every 25 miles. I broke it in the quarter, and you did aid station, whatever it took to get you there. And then once you get over that second half, you're right. You're just clicking them down and just putting in the time and.
That's it. That's it. Putting in the time.
Yeah, putting in the time. And for me, everything, I'm just trying to enjoy the experience. I feel blessed to even be able to do what I'm doing. I would have never expected that I could have done it myself. It was 5 years ago, I would have never even thought that I could have done a full Ironman. But it's amazing. You just got to put down the time and you got to do it. And it's, I'm hooked. I love the sport. I love the people. I love the attitude.
So when was your first? 5 years ago?
So Ironman Chattanooga was my first full. So
whoa,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, that was my first
Oh,
full. I've done Beach to Battleship before it became North Carolina 70.3. That was in 2015. I've done Augusta, and then I did last year. I did two events. I did Eagle Man, the half.
ooh,
Yeah,
okay, okay, half,
I did the
okay.
half. That was in the spring. That was May. Like I said last year, I did both events for Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. So I started with the half in at Eagle Man, and it rained. It poured on us, Charlie, in the I mean, downpour on the bike, but it was my fastest bike ride ever because it's flat. You just got to pick your speed and just go. You don't really ever change your gears. You're just going.
Wow, really?
Yeah, but it was great. It was quick. But they canceled our swim on us. We were ready to go in, and they canceled. We're gonna have it. We're not gonna have it. It was so choppy. I'm kind of glad that they did cancel it because I'm not a great swimmer. And once they canceled it, even though it would have been nice to, it was my best event, I think. So I would have loved to do the swim just so I could see how it all went together. But I wasn't too disappointed because it was so choppy.
Yeah, I've heard pretty nasty swims in Malibu. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Nasty, threatening, life-threatening, life-threatening swims. Yeah, I don't care for that swim deal thing.
Yeah, I like that we can do rolling starts. I can't imagine doing a like for Kona. When you did Kona, was that just a mass start?
Yep.
How'd you do that? Did you wait back and let people go, or did you
Oh,
get in the
oh
middle of
my
it?
God.
Yeah.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Oh no, because then it was even worse in Hawaii because you had to swim out past the jetty, and then you just like treaded water out there and waited
Okay.
for the cannon to go off. I stayed it way back. I don't even like treading freaking water for an extra 5 minutes.
Yeah.
My butt.
Yeah.
I'm going way, way back. But that's where experience comes into play.
Yeah.
Because if you do on beach starts, see, Matt's a professional. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And you watch the first group go in, watch the second group go in, and you can see which way the tide is running.
Okay.
Which way the tide is running. Let me tell you, Peter,
Yeah.
that made me look like an absolute hero in Panama City. The tide was running. I did Panama City in 12:42.
Wow. Incredible.
12:42. That's the fastest time for a visually impaired athlete still.
That is awesome.
But he watched and he watched and he watched, and he talked to a couple people. And if you started where they told you to start, because the beach is long, you got a quarter mile of beach, you can start wherever you want.
Okay.
Stretch out along the beach. Stretch out along the beach. Everybody gets as close as they can to the first marker. And he's watching, he's watching, he's watching. And we started way late. We just kept walking down the beach, further down the beach, further down the beach. And cannon goes off, and we're way up there, all by ourselves.
Yeah.
Cannon goes off. We get in the water, and everybody gets in, and they're fighting the current to get to the first marker. We are swimming like we're on fire, and the current is just sending us to the first marker.
Wow.
And we collided with the massive bodies on the first marker, but I had juice left in my tank.
Yeah.
We turned that marker, and we were gone. We were just totally gone. So you have to really have experience and watch what's going on and learn to use the elements in your favor if possible.
Yeah.
if possible. So yeah, the time trial start.
Yeah.
That's the best. They did that in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
And they did it in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Time trial start. You walk to the end of a floating dock, boop, jump in and go.
Yeah.
But it's challenging, because then you had to swim a canal,
Yeah.
and there could be faster swimmers behind you.
Yeah.
So you're getting killed. I mean, I'm okay. I could swim in a washing machine probably. So I get kicked to pieces, but
Yeah.
still, it was a great day. Great day.
Yeah, for Chattanooga, at least everybody was able to spread out. It really
Yes.
there was only a few times that I really felt like I had someone on top of me, and you could just move out of the way. But
Yeah.
we were able to spread out, so I never felt threatened at all. But I've been some of our local sprint tries where you got people swimming right up over the top of you, and
Pretty much.
the only thing I can do is stop and let them pass, and that way, then once I get my open space, I'm good to go. I can swim as long as I need to do, as long as I'm not being harassed, So
Oh, I got it. I have it, and nobody does it intentionally, but
yeah,
because everybody tries to make believe they're a me, except I've been a me all my life.
yeah,
You take away your ability to see
yeah,
people. That's not a good thing for people.
yeah, no.
They're really not happy with that. So but that all comes with you have your training. Like you said, once you're in open water, you know your pace. You can kind of like do what you got to do, and everything is fine. People that just think that this is like some magical thing that happens. No, you got to be using your head from minute one, second one.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that like try to explain to the newbies, or even to the oldies, like old person, like somebody starting out to be a triathlete when they're like 55. I didn't even start to even think about being a runner until I was 55. I didn't do anything until I was 55, and that's when it all started. So it's not too late to start when you're 55. That's you be a newbie, and then you become weathered.
Yeah.
Then you become weathered. But I like to encourage as many people.
Yeah.
Because it is a very magical. The people that it's just like camaraderie. Like if you did it, you did it. People can talk up a story. Yeah. But if you swam 2.4 miles, you swam 2.4 miles. And if you biked 112, you biked you didn't make it look like you biked 112. You biked the damn 112.
Yeah.
If you did it, you did it.
Yeah.
And if you did the marathon, you did it. Yeah. So there's a badge of honor or courage or stupidity or whatever it is. It's kind of like right there.
Yeah. That's funny.
It's just been fun the whole way.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, do you have any personal mantras or sayings that you kind of tell yourself?
No, I just think, I have a lot of faith in everybody that passed before me.
Yeah.
I think they're up there someplace.
Yep.
And they say, hey, you guys and girls, come on around this table. And my grandson or my son or my friend from high school or college, he's going to put on some show for us.
Yeah.
And that's what I think about.
Okay.
Parents especially.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. I believe that too.
Put on a show.
Yep, I agree. What do you think some of your secrets to success as an athlete?
Oh, it has to be your attitude, what's inside of you. Yeah. See, the muscles are the muscles. You either build them or train them or work with what you've got. But the attitude, the heart behind the head or the head behind the heart, and that goes to the muscles. Got to have heart, got to have head, determination, commitment, ownership. You want to take ownership of this thing. I've taken ownership of everything I've ever done. Some of it worked out, some of it didn't, some of it magic, some of it tragic. But I took ownership whatever I did. If I failed, I took ownership of it. Yeah. And I try to do better the next time. If you do it passively, kids used to say, like, you still get worried when you're in the starting round? Do you get worried? I said, I have concerns. I don't call it worry anymore. Initially, it was worry till I learned what it was all about. But I have concerns. I don't walk in there and say, hey, I spit on this thing. There's like nothing. No, I take ownership, and with that comes concerns. And that's how I do business. It's all part of the experience. Yep. Just one little side thing about how my brain works. You want to know how I get my motivation? Yep. I love oysters. I don't know if you like oysters.
I do.
You do? You really?
Yep.
I'm not going to go to a bar or a dinner and pay $2 for an oyster. I'm not doing it. So I want to learn how to open my own oysters. You don't open your own oysters, do you?
No.
Okay, well, let me tell you. I talked to this one exec chef. I said, well, I'm a blind guy, I do a lot of stuff. You need eyes to open oysters? He says, no, you don't. No, you don't. You just need a desire to do it. So for me, having my thumb find the opening in the back of the oyster, like finding which is up and which is down, that's easy. I can do that with my left hand. But finding the entry point is easy. Well, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it isn't. But that's all part of the experience. Take the oyster from the refrigerator, chilled. Take one out at a time. You don't want to rattle it and shake it and let them know you're coming. You just take it out carefully and wrap a cloth around the oyster and find the insertion point, and then you work it in little by little, and it's all part of the excitement. But sometimes I used to get frustrated, like, oh my God, this is terrible. I turned it into part of the experience. Just imagine this oyster is going to give up its life for you.
Yeah.
So he's fighting to stay alive, and you're fighting to eat him. And that's pretty much it. He's fighting to stay alive. So if he gives it up, then maybe he's not going to taste that good.
Yeah.
So I turn that into all part of the experience. And sometimes I'll open up 6 of them, have them on a plate, and I'll sit there with my martini. And people say, well, aren't you going to eat the oysters? I said, no. I thought about when I opened them. Now I'm going to think about them before I start slurping them down. It's all part of the experience. And one step at a time, like you said with the swimming, biking, and running.
Yep.
You don't think about the long distances. Just open the oysters. Think about enjoying an opening. Think about enjoying eating them. And then think about that martini. And then you gradually, then it's done. Then it's cleanup.
Yeah.
And did you enjoy the overall experience? I could slurp down 6 oysters probably in 30 seconds, but then that's it? You slurp down oysters?
Yeah.
Somebody like you who is still trying to figure things out, your kids, you've reached a point where you can start to think about just being Peter with his bride, Peter before they were children. It's like a cool place to be. And but it's a little cute. And then you, for some reason, are double bubbling with your physical therapy degrees and people that you meet up with, but you have to inspire them. They come in all broken, and you want to get them back, and they say, well, hey, I just talked to this 77-year-old clown that's still doing stuff, and he's just coming back from stuff. He came back from a torn meniscus that needs attention, and I got this stenosis up to L3 and L4 now, so I know it's coming at me. It's coming. Yeah. But we'll see where it goes.
Charlie, I can't thank you enough. When I think about things is, these athletes, like they can do marathons in 2 hours or, Ironmans in 8 hours, they're impressive. But the stuff that inspires me are people who, like these double amputees that are doing events, cancer survivors, and you as a blind athlete, you guys inspire me, and that's where I appreciate everything you do.
Well, now you have to carry it to the next level. Make it count someplace else.
Yeah. And, well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for spending time with me, Charlie. I know I kept you probably longer than expected, but I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much. And if you quite possibly make some presentations, if you find an audience that might be worth talking to,
I'd love that. I'd love that, Charlie. That'd be great. I hope that our paths cross again. Hopefully
there you go.
This COVID stuff gets taken care of, and then that way we can get back to where we get to see you and we can spend some time together.
Sounds beautiful.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Charlie.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation with Charlie. I originally was going to apologize for the inconsistency of the audio feed due to having some technical difficulties. However, after careful consideration, I decided to provide a great analogy for life. If we wait for perfect conditions or the right situation, we will allow life to pass us by. Charlie is a great example of how, no matter what storms you have weathered in your life, you do what is necessary to take a chance and keep moving forward. Just like riding a tandem bike, if you are willing to put in the work and have faith, anything is possible. His willingness to take ownership of all his decisions, both good and bad, can be a great lesson for everyone. His core exercise routine may not be ideal in the textbook world, but for Charlie it is perfectly tailored to the blueprint of how He was instructed by his father to take on life. Plus, to us, he may be an Ironman, but to his grandchildren, I am sure he's a superhero. I encourage everyone to take on life like Charlie takes on eating oysters, with focus, determination, patience, and appreciation. If you enjoyed today's episode, please hit subscribe, leave a comment, and share with your friends. My miles are for the journey. God bless. Pete Perusik.